There we go. Welcome, all my Wicked Warriors. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It's another action-packed episode of the Wicked Wally webcast right here live on Twitch. Soon to be the best hard rock, heavy metal show on the planet.
Already the best.
That's right. I should start saying that. And so this is episode number 3, and I'm titling this episode The Godfather of Metal, because I have a special guest with me in studio, the Godfather of Metal himself, and we'll find out later in the episode why I consider JP the Godfather of Metal. JP Wood, thanks for joining.
My pleasure.
Thanks for being on the show.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been looking forward to this all week.
I've been looking forward to it all week as well, actually. I've been looking forward to it all week as well. And actually, we have some people in the chat. Jay, hi Jay, how's it going? We have a few other viewers as well in the chat right now or online. Send us your questions, anything you want. We're gonna have a good chat here tonight. But yes, I am live with JP in studio, and we're missing a camera. All right, doesn't matter. All right, so JP is the Godfather of Metal. And I say that because you, JP, you're the host of one of the longest running heavy metal radio shows in the world, with 35 years and counting, called Megawatt Mayhem.
Yeah, and I don't know about this Godfather of Metal. It's like I think there's a lot of people who might disagree, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Well, the reason I think I say that is because we met through the radio.
We did, yeah, as so many of our great community volunteers do. Like, friendships are built on it.
Yeah, I had a show on CJSW. We had a show there, and I left the airwaves, and that's where you're with CJSW, Megawatt Mayhem. Just past the 35th anniversary, right?
That's right. The show started back in '85, and in all honesty, I joined in '99 as a volunteer with the CGSW, the community station here in Calgary, Alberta, and I've been doing the show ever since, and took over about 4 years ago as the sole host, and just riding it into the sunset.
Right, and you definitely have that late night radio DJ voice.
Yeah, people say, you look tall. I thought you'd be taller, and all those cliches that you heard as well. And I drop my voice down an octave or try to, so I sound cooler, and it doesn't work. So I'll just be me.
No, it probably just years of speaking on the radio as well, because
well, my mother used to say you love the sound of your own voice, so maybe it's only natural I went into radio.
I kind of like the sound of my own voice too. People ask me that when I first went on the radio. They're like, don't you just hate that sound? You put the headphones on, you can hear your own voice. I'm like, no, that's awesome.
It's like me amplified.
Wow. See, you can even make these little guest mics sound amazing with your fantastic voice.
It's all the technology. It's not me.
So as I mentioned, Megawatt Mayhem. So you joined CJSW back in 1999. That was a little while ago. That was I had not graduated high school yet at that point in time.
It's okay.
So you started off as a volunteer, and did you right away get on with Megawatt Mayhem, or?
Yeah, essentially how it happened is that I had been working on a heavy metal board game project, which we'll probably talk about later.
We will talk about it, yes. It's very exciting stuff.
I said I need to market this and promote this, so I contacted metal people, and that at the time was Megawatt Mayhem. So I went on the show as a guest, and they said, tell us about your game. And this was when it was in the prototype phase. And then they said, come back when it's done. So I did. And I started to get along with the host, Kevin Warren at the time. He said, I'm looking for a new co-host. Why don't you take the training? And I did. And then bang, 4 weeks later, I was a volunteer at CGSW, and I've been doing it ever since.
Awesome. We're actually having some technical difficulties already this far into the stream. I think folks right now can only see you and they can't see me. So I am just going to have to see what is going on here. Technical issues. I did turn it on. Whoever said that in the chat to turn it off and turn it on again, that's exactly what I did. I thought I'd be tinkering with shit for a while, but no, we're back. And because I wanted this really great camera angle. It's the first time I've had the person I'm interviewing as my guest in studio at the same time. So we have this really cool thing where they can see us from the side, so you can wave over there, and then they can see us from that camera there, and they can see me from my camera. So this is going to work really, really well for us tonight, because there's going to be points in time where I'm going to be so interested in what you're doing. You're going to be showing your game board. You're going to be showing cool memorabilia, your collection, your collection's insane. It's actually funny. How much stuff did you bring with you, JP?
Like a crate.
A crate.
DVDs, books, CDs, shirts, games, all sorts of cool stuff. So Kevin got to know you through the board game? Is that how that worked? Yeah, essentially. I just came on as a total random guest, and he said, hey, here's a local dude working on a board game.
Oh, okay.
And then showed him the prototype, and we chatted about it, and he said, join us again once it's finished, which so I was invited back, which is very kind.
Yeah.
And over time, we just chatted a lot about metal, and he saw that I was, a big metal nerd, and said, I could use another co-host. So that was how that kind of came into being. And then he encouraged me to go through the training program at CGSW, which was just fun and easy, and meeting lots of cool new music fans of all genres. And
right.
So then in early October of '99, I started my first episode of Megawatt Mayhem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you run the show solo your first time in?
No, actually. The first, Kevin showed me the ropes, and then the second, he had an engagement or something like this. So the second show, I was flying solo. I'm like, oh my God, what are all these flashy, blinky red lights? I guess I don't know what to do.
Oh, okay.
But the training kicked in, and I managed to put, if you can press on and off on a CD player at home, then you can be a DJ. It's not that hard.
Don't tell anybody that.
The secret. Well,
don't tell them the secret.
Just look, compared to your gear for this webcast, it's like, oh my God. I can't even get my VCR to stop blinking 12, and you've got like multiple camera angles and integrated patch stuff, high tech. I'm not a high tech guy.
There's actually so many different pieces of software I'm running right now to make this work. Like, folks can see in the corner of the screen what music we're listening to now. That's its own program.
The chat.
To get the cameras to kind of like the color, I'm still messing with it to look better. To get the color in the camera, that's its own program. You got the chat up and running. I have browser, screen and screen. Yeah, there's been a lot of but I actually like this kind of stuff. This tinkering. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun to tinker and get everything right. And actually, I'm slowly going to make this room look even better. I've got some cool stuff behind me now. Eventually, there'll be some stuff up on the walls here too. So, and some lights and stuff. It's going to be this really cool space. Right. It's going to change from my work from home office
into your full-on studio.
That's right. We're going to kick some ass. So, the board game. Actually, you know what? What we're going to do tonight too, JP, is not just going to be us chatting back and forth. We're going to take little breaks to listen to some kick-ass metal and look at some videos and music videos as well. So both the bands coming up that we're going to listen to tonight, we're going to take two different artists tonight. One is called Black Fate, and they are a power prog metal band, which I know power metal is right up your wheelhouse, JP.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And the other band we're going to look at is called Le Fée, another power prog metal band. Le Fée, have you heard of them?
Is it Lefay? Le Fée?
It's Lufeh.
Oh, okay, different. Yeah. Different band. Yeah.
Oh,
I have heard of them. So
you've heard of them, yes. Okay, because they just released their entire. Well, this year they released their entire album. They recorded it as a live performance, which is perfect for what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was like Loofah, the thing in the shower where you scratch your back. That's not the most metal band name of all time, Loofah. I'm sure there's a cool reason behind it.
There's a reason behind it. It's actually not that cool. It's sort of just we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. So a bit of a listening party where we'll check out some Black Fate, and then we'll listen to a bunch of Lefé. As much as until we get sick of it, we'll come back and forth from that. Some prog. You're gonna like it. Oh yeah. I'm ready to show. I want you to show folks. Let's start off with this board game. So, 1999. This is before Megawatt Mayhem, pre-Megawatt Mayhem. You founded JPW Metal Enterprises Incorporated.
I did. A bit of a backstory. I was noticing how metal just through the mid 90s was really struggling commercially, and I wanted to make that transition from being a fan to someone who was involved in the industry and doing more to promote and support and all that. And so I did that year, 99, 2000, that sort of 18-month corridor. I did 5 major projects, which sort of helped establish my
metal cred.
Yeah, metal cred, whatever you want to call it. And that was, board game was one of them. So one of the big 5. So.
Okay, so this is the world's first heavy metal board game. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you created, manufactured the board game, and distributed it, and you sold it all over the world. So what encompasses, what counts as all over the world?
Well, like any business, we raise money and manufacture it and distribute it. So it was in stores all over North America and Europe, and people would log on to the website. Now, remember, 99 websites are still fairly new and kind of interesting. So we had to pay a paywall, and people, they weren't embracing buying things online yet, so it wasn't that active. But, we like a guy in Israel would buy it, or a guy in Mexico would buy it, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And we sold a few here and there, and had a lot of fun with it. That was the main thing,
Yeah, your customers included, you said HMV Records, Century Media, Nuclear Blast, Metal Blade, just to name a few.
Yeah, all those, they carried it in their distros and their catalogs and stuff, which was kind of cool. So I'd ship them off a dozen copies, and they'd sell them and buy another dozen, and it was great. So,
okay, you may need to back this up a bit, but the inspiration for the board game came from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey soundtrack. Is this correct?
Is this true? Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that story.
You don't remember this story?
You have to tell me my own story. I think it's in the liner notes somewhere.
Yeah, you're on record saying that you were reviewing the Bill and Ted soundtrack, and it has the Kiss song, God Gave Rock and Roll to You.
That's right. You can work really hard or just fantasize.
Fantasize, right. Or you can work 9 to 5. I don't want to hear me. No one's hearing me sing, but
get off your ass and do something.
Get off your ass and do something, right? Yeah. So were you secretly hoping this would be your big break, the board game?
Well, originally I wanted to write a book about the history of metal.
Oh, that's cool.
And I started rough notes and drafts, and it was too enormous, too immense. Even back, in the mid 90s, there's too much to cover reasonably. And my wife at the time said, you have all this useless trivia rattling around in your head. Why don't you actually do something with it? And I'm like, trivia, board games. I mean, I like Trivial Pursuit and trivia-based games. So it's like, okay, let's do it. Let's do a trivia. No one's done one yet, so I'm going to be the first. So, yeah. And of course, you have those sort of dreams of grandeur where you think, okay, I'm going to sell 1 million copies, and it becomes, reality kicks in very soon for a niche game in a small market in a time when metal wasn't popular, but it was still awesome and fun, and I'd do it again.
Yeah, Johnny Alberta in the chat. Hey, Johnny, how's it going? He's saying play some Chaos Being. You're not even in that band anymore. Come on,
why not? Yeah. We'll put it on the list.
No. Honestly, get the boys to reach out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reach out to them. Get them to reach out to me. I'd love to have Chaos Being on a future show. Yeah. They're a lot of fun. So yes, I would love to play some Chaos Being on a future show. But everything I play on the show, I get permission from either the artists or their representatives. But I still get copyright strikes on all my videos. So some days, eventually, if this show gets more popular, we'll have to find another way to help, so people can help support the show through some sort of means, merch or money or something. Because ad revenue is not going to be an option, no matter how good I am, how nice I am, and I only play the stuff that I'm allowed to play. That people, they get permission. I reach out to bands. It's all in good faith, but the bots don't care about, the AI doesn't care about good faith.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, so let's check this out. Let's look at the board game. Yeah. So you were inspired by a Kiss song off of Bill and Ted's, about 9 to 5. Here, I'm gonna make this way bigger camera, and let's zoom her down. So you told me that you're going to give me this copy.
Yeah, well, I already thought you had one, but I just found out before we started tonight that you gave it to a dear friend of ours. So
I
it's
did.
like you're,
I did.
oh, well, you need your own copy, so here you go. I'll just hand it over to you.
Awesome. I'm going to suck so bad at this, though. I just remembering dates and facts and all these things. I want to open this guy up.
It's all just metal nerd stuff anyway, but...
Yeah. So it might actually be easier if we do up on your side, but...
Wow, whatever you want. I can open it up.
Here, while I'm doing that, while I'm opening up this game, because it's not going to be interesting, people waiting for me to open up a box.
Unboxing things are huge.
Oh, you're right, it is.
There's this thing called
You're
YouTube.
right.
Like you could go and see
Hold on. You are so right. Let's do the all cameras so people can see what's going on. And I'll actually point the camera down and let's unbox this beast.
It's kind of funny, too, because I'm being a bit of a cynical bastard, but it's like, who would sit and watch someone else open their Christmas presents? And then it's like, everybody likes it.
Everybody likes it.
Everybody likes it.
There we go. So we have the Mental Meltdown. Wow. See how the camera looks like that. Yes. And on the bottom it says, the world's first heavy metal trivia board game. 100% pure metal, brave words, and bloody knuckles. Exceeds your daily minimum requirement of iron, steel, and other essential metals. Approved.
Yeah,
Wow.
those guys threw me an endorsement early on, and they said, let's stop a sticker on it. So we printed those up, and that was nice of them.
Oh, man, this is sweet. All right.
What's that old Jurassic Park quote? Spared no expense. Something like that. Remember that old movie?
Spare no expense.
Spare no expense. When the guy's like, we're building the dinosaur park, we spared no expense. Well, that's not true for this board game. There's quite expenses spared, but we did the best we could with the budget.
Yeah, it's actually that was the boss. The boss spared no expense, and yet the park gets. I feel so dirty opening this actually.
What's yours
because
now? You can like.
I know it's too late. It's already been opened. Because if you actually look right now on eBay, I found one of these selling for $100.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like you were saying, JP, if someone wants one, come to you because.
Yeah, I'll sell it to you a lot cheaper than $100 on eBay.
Yeah. Because you still have a bunch of these, you're saying, in storage?
Yeah, I do. You know, like any sort of semi-successful inventor creator, there's always product left at the end that you didn't sell, right? So now it's kind of fun to do this sort of thing, or I give them away for charity or gifts, or but it is a little out of date.
Ooh, limited edition collector series. It's got a number on it here.
Ooh, what number are you?
It says here 2057.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and there's 2500 666A. Is that normal for it to have a 666 on there?
Yeah. We thought that maybe we might do a second, a second edition. So that would be like 666-B and C, and it never came to being. But we were planning ahead.
Got the game rules, man. That looks sick. That looks cool.
Mr. Happy Skullhead face there.
Cool.
His brain exploding.
Who did the artwork? That skull. You remember?
A good friend of mine, Nicole Harper. She did the artwork. It just she said, "Yeah, I'll have fun and do that." And, just independent artist. And
oh my God, this is cool! I can't believe I gave this away to Laz. Well, she was drooling over it. I'm just like, you know what? Am I going to play? But you know what? This is great because this is going to. I should know about this. I'm going to go back to the Wally cam.
We've got.
Let's see if people can see this
pentagram going on.
Pentagram. Oh, wow. Yeah, metal. It says, GPW Metal Enterprises Incorporated. Start. So the goal then of the pentagram is to what? To get to the center of the pentagram, or where are you going?
Nah, it's just sort of... I wanted a game that was really free-flowing and loose. So essentially, you just move any direction around the board, you roll the dice, and you land on a square that has your level of difficulty, and then you ask sort of easy, medium, hard, or really hard question.
Okay.
And then go from there, and whoever gets to 666 points first wins, of course.
Is it hard to get to 666 points?
It is actually.
Sounds like a lot of points.
It's a mistake. Yeah, it was a mistake. In hindsight, when we were beta testing it, when we were playing, it's like, well, we know these answers, so it didn't take long. But I've talked to people who said, we played your game for 4 freaking hours until someone got to 666, and we were like exhausted by the end of it. Or drunk or both. So next time it'll be to like 66.6 or something.
Yeah. Well, you can probably just modify it, right?
Yeah, it's actually
play the points you want
to, just like first one to 100 or the whatever, make it up.
Oh, you have a
I
little.
talked to a lot of fans who said we just like sit around, have a drink, and ask each other questions from the cards. Like forget rolling the dice, you know.
Oh wow, is this still a PO box for you for the customer survey?
Not anymore.
Okay,
that was one of the things when we started the company. We did the full on thing, and a lot of people did. They said, "I want the black." We thought we might do expansion packs: black metal pack, death metal pack, power metal pack, whatever. And,
Right.
Just never quite materialized, but that's all right.
Oh, thank you so much. You have a personalized note here. Thank you so much for purchasing this. Oh, I want to frame this. That is beautiful.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we tried to do those little extra things.
Oh my God, this is gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to have to become, you know what, this is good. This is an excuse for me to actually get better on my metal knowledge. Going back, if you go far enough in the past, then I've heard of all these bands, I've heard of the songs, but if you were to quiz me on it. Oh, and the score pad. This is nice too. Nice score pad. That is cool. That is really cool.
I don't want to undersell it, but it's also, it's out of date. We got to recognize this.
Oh, that's true.
20 years.
Yeah. 20 years old
20
now.
years old. And so I'm writing questions like, when I'm writing this, like, there's this new band from Sweden called In Flames. So it's like, okay. And my buddy Evil Dave and I were designing some of these questions, we said, how are we going to make this so this is contemporary? Like, you can't say, okay, for example, question, who is the singer of Van Halen?
Yeah.
Well, that could change. So you have to say, who is the first singer of Van Halen?
Good
so
point.
Have to think about the way it was, like, what was the band's fifth album, or these types of things that probably won't change.
Right.
So, and then, I've talked to young people. It's like, man, I've never heard any of these bands. Well, because you weren't born when a lot of them were, popular.
Well, see, we have Johnny's active in the chat. We have some other viewers too. So feel free to chat with us, whether it be Twitch is the best place because for some reason the chat messages come like right away and I never miss them. The stuff that comes up on Facebook is a little bit slower, but whatever happens, how about we play a round? How about we, well, not a round, but let's here,
let's bomb some questions back and forth.
Yeah, here, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right.
I'll start with you, and I'm going to fix my camera. And JP, you can pull out a question for everyone. See if someone in the chat gets it. Let's see if I get it. Obviously, is there ever anything that stumps you?
Oh, yeah. I've forgotten half these questions. It used to be all in my head. It's like you forget more than you ever remember. Or what was that? What's that saying? It's like you've forgotten most of your life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we have the skull dice, too. Here we go. Evil.
Oh, sweet. Let me pull up the camera.
Skull dice. So if you roll the skull, you get to like double or nothing or something like that. I can't even remember now.
Can I get the zoom? There you go.
So yeah, essentially it just works like a fun Trivial Pursuit. You just and it really was meant to be a social, fun game, like all board games. Some board games can get pretty intense, right? But this one's just like, I got 5, and let's ask a question about Van Halen or whatever.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Satan's Butter Tarts, thanks for joining. Love the SYL shirt. Strapping young lad. He noticed your awesome shirt.
It's one of my favorites. It just looks so good, and I got it at the Calgary stop of the tour back in October 20 years ago when they were here on the city tour. Thanks for noticing.
Johnny Alberta says, I'm slower too. Yeah. All right. Let's try it. Let's ask some questions. Let's see how this goes, and then we'll after we're done that, we'll take a music break. We'll check out the first band.
I'm just gonna pull one out at random. All right. See, now this is the fun thing. I talked to a lot of people. They say the game is too hard, like too obscure.
I've heard it's really hard.
So then people just like, all right, pick at least one that you think the guy can answer or the girl can answer.
Okay, is that what we're gonna do?
That's what we're gonna do.
Is it multiple? It's not multiple choice, is it? It's like Trivial Pursuit where you have to know the answer, right?
Some of them are multiple choice, but generally you kind of got to know the answer.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this is a band near and dear to my heart. Who declared that all men play on 10?
That all men play on 10.
Yeah.
I know who turns it up to 11, but
the catchphrase of this band, all men play on 10.
All men play on 10. I don't know. Anyone in the chat? Does anyone in the chat know?
Throw it out there.
And it might take a little bit to update. Anyone play on 10? Well, I'm going to use the internet, which is cheating.
No, it's not cheating. That's what it's for.
Anyone play on 10? Google's coming up empty, so this is going to be interesting. Oh, Jay does not know. So what was the quote again? One more time.
All men play on 10.
All men play on 10.
There we go.
Oh,
we have a winner.
I think we have a Google.
We have a Google. We have a winner.
Manowar.
Manowar.
I definitely know Manowar. I didn't know that was their
One of the
saying.
things. Yeah.
All men play on 10.
Cheesy machismo thing.
It's like ultra macho. It's so hilarious. But they don't. Isn't just like a muscle suit now? Like it does. Like,
yeah,
they look nothing like that anymore.
Yeah, that's right. That's, well, they're 60 or 70.
Right.
So.
But I mean, they're still going strong though. All right, let's do one more. And while you're getting one more question ready to go, I'm going to get us ready for checking out that first band.
All right, you tell me when you're ready.
All right. Yep. Go for it.
Who released the album Tales from the Thousand Lakes?
Tales from the Thousand Lakes.
Want some hints?
Sure.
It's a Finnish death metal band.
At the Gates? No, they're not Finnish.
They're not Finnish, but you're kind of in the you're in the
They're
right
Swedish.
wheelhouse,
They're
yeah.
Swedish. That's a bad answer.
I think they're Finnish. Maybe they're Swedish. I don't know. We'll have to check.
Finnish. Not like Kalma or Amorphous.
Amorphous.
Nathan.
Yes.
Yeah, Satan's Butter Tarts. I know who that is too. He is a Jesus. They're Finnish.
They are.
Johnny, did you know the answer to that question? But I could see Satan's Butter Tarts knowing. Actually, he would be perfect for this game. Actually, him and I should play it sometime. He's a buddy of mine. So awesome. Okay, like I said, we're gonna listen to some tunes. We're gonna listen to Black Fate. And a little bit about Black Fate before we dive right into it. Not to be confused with the Black Fate from Germany. This is the Black Fate from Greece. So there's more than one Black Fate, believe it or not. So we're gonna listen to their single "Savior Machine" off of their 5th studio album Ithaca, that is gonna be released on October the 23rd by Rockshot Records. Black Fate was Black Fate was formed in 1990 in Larissa, Greece. Their only original band member remaining is Nikos.
You're gonna try to pronounce a Greek surname live? You're a brave man.
Synzilios.
Hey, good job.
Sort of, kind of. He's the drummer. So the drummer is the only original member of the band, with all original members being replaced, except for him, by 2009. Everyone else is
usually it's the guitarist or the main songwriter.
Right. Usually it's not the drummer, and that's going to be a bit of a theme. We're a bit of a theme because we're gonna find out the same thing with this other band. Has a very strong drummer persona. Let's just say. Okay.
Right on.
Okay. All right. Let's pop this up on the web browser. There you can see the chat. All right. All right, some Black Fate. Let's do this. So I'm going to want your expert opinion on this.
Sure.
Sounds a lot like the lead vocalist from Camelot. What's his name? The latest lead vocalist, most recent one.
Tommy Karavik.
Right, yeah. Tommy.
And a little bit like Roy Khan as well, the prior vocalist.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So I'm getting that Camelot
totally
kind of feel, yeah.
What I like is the Greek references on the album cover.
Oh, okay.
Because if you know your ancient Greek history, one of the, I believe, don't quote me on this.
Okay.
One of the ancient 7 wonders of the world was the lighthouse at Alexandria. So here we have the ancient trading vessel going through the port during the storm and the lighthouse.
Wow.
Yeah. I like this record. Actually, they sent it to me digitally, and I played on my show and enjoyed it. So they're a hot new... They're not that new, but they're a hot band.
They're very, yeah. Awesome. As soon as I came across my radar, I'm like, oh, JP, I like these guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
My fiance, who was never into metal before, now likes some metal. Power metal is definitely in her wheelhouse. She'd probably like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's melodic. You can understand the vocals, all those things.
Yeah, for sure. I really like. I like Camelot.
Oh,
I like that kind of
when
sound.
They came to town.
Yeah.
I was going to say, could I have the volume, the music volume in my headphones down just a touch?
Yep. Definitely. Yeah.
Ah, there you go. Thanks.
There you go. That's better. Yeah,
I was having a bit of a hard time hearing you.
Hearing me. Yeah. Not a problem. And just so you know, we talk too, and we have any comments during the song. It's there's what's it called? It's, audio chaining or side ducking. Anyway, when we talk, the music goes a little bit quieter.
Yeah,
so it's not going to be
really cool.
People are going to know what we're saying. It's not going to be weird.
Yeah, it's compressed.
Oh, this is a message to all advertisements. Thank you.
Well,
thanks for that. It's brought to you by.
It's funny you were talking about Wheelhouse too. And I don't want to talk about myself the whole time, but since I'm the guest now,
Well, you're the special guest.
Yeah, I'm the special guest.
Talk about yourself. Yeah.
You know, I've always championed power metal, and that's what a lot of people know me for, having a passion and enthusiasm, even though the passion is an overused term, but
yeah,
an energy and excitement about those types of bands. But I've over time, erroneously or not, sort of become to be identified as a power metal guy, which is not totally true, because I like all forms of metal, and I just have like massive amounts of rare black metal stuff that I enjoy, and death metal and thrash, and
right.
But just like JP's a power metal guy, it's like, well, wait do you come and check out my Marduk collection, or whatever? And they're like, oh, I didn't know you like black metal. It's like, yeah, I just don't talk about it all the time, because those guys have the exposure. It's like bands like Black Fate. No one talks about Black Fate. Everyone talks about, Fear Factory or whoever is always in the news, right? So I was like, I'm going to champion the Black Fate from Greece,
Right.
Yeah, just like you do.
Right.
Exploring the underground, and that's what it's about.
It's good you say that. Everyone can have a favorite, right? Even like metal is my favorite genre of music by far, which encompasses a lot of different styles of music.
Oh, incredible! Yeah,
right. But occasionally, I'll listen to some Beatles. I'll listen to some old music. Like, I'll throw something else on. Totally. It's just because it's your favorite doesn't mean it's like what you gravitate towards. Doesn't mean it's the only thing you like listening to.
No, that's not true. I only listen to metal.
Is that true? Like not even
I can honestly say, except for accidentally hearing non-metal, like if I'm in an elevator or in a mall, I haven't willingly listened to a non-metal album in about 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Got to be elitist. Someone has to be like, the president of the metal elitist club. So.
I'm not pure enough.
It's all about
you're challenging my metal cred right now.
No way. No, it's funny because a lot of people say, well, you're married. Like, does your wife like metal? I'm like, no, she's normal. Like, she's
normal.
Yeah, she likes pop and rock. And around the house, we got the country station on, or the pop station or whatever. And my kids all like normal music. They're like, oh, Daddy, that's screamy music.
I can't stand a lot of pop music. Though it just drives me just bananas. Mm-hmm. Taylor Swift.
Oh, my kids love Taylor Swift. She's the cool chick, or was the cool. Or what's that other one? Katy Perry. And I just found out that there's this guy named Drake who's apparently quite popular in Canada right now as well. And my friends were teasing me because I'd never heard of Drake before.
I've heard of Drake.
Yeah, he's some rap guy, but anyway. But everyone likes their thing, right? So I became a metal guy early and just never evolved.
His real name, because it was the Studio Bell Music Center. Mm-hmm. It shows that his real name, Aubrey. Yeah, why doesn't he go by Aubrey?
That's a nice name. His mother is proud of it and chose Aubrey for him.
Right. And he's going by Drake.
Isn't that a duck?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Or Mallard. You get one by Mallard, maybe.
Something like that.
DW.
And no one's ever made that joke before in the history of music.
Never.
Making fun of his name and the duck. No, we're very original.
Original. Yeah, not dad jokes at all. None of those here. And hello, Wally says, Oddish Despair. Hi, Oddish Despair. How you doing?
Despair.
Hello.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, thanks for watching. And actually, also, if you're watching, you're on Twitch, so awesome. Wicked. That's wicked. If anyone's checking this out on Facebook right now, come over to Twitch. Twitch.tv/wickedwallywebcast. Follow us on there. And that's also where you'll be able to interact more with the chat. We won't miss anything. And we'll go from there. All right, JP. So we talked about radio, 35 years. How much longer do you think Megawatt Mayhem is going to go for till you croak?
35.
There you go. Wow.
Yeah, because I'll be 85, and that'll be the 70th anniversary. So yeah, actually 90. Let's change it. I'm gonna the 75th anniversary of Megawatt. I'll retire when I'm 90. I'm calling it here.
Wow.
They'll be rolling me in my wheelchair, and I'll be like, I remember when Iron Maiden was cool.
Right. Okay. When Iron Maiden was cool. Iron Maiden will always be cool.
That's right.
Actually, something I saw online recently was a bunch of these pop artists. We were just talking about Taylor Swift and I don't know what's another one, Miley Cyrus and
Perry,
and those Lady Gaga. Although you apparently don't dislike Lady Gaga.
I haven't really heard anything, but apparently she's quite the rock chick. So,
right.
Which is good.
But there's just this thing with all of these pop stars wearing Iron Maiden shirts.
I know
because it's cool.
Yeah, there's that debate, and I think any type of advertising for metal should be endorsed and promoted. Supported.
I agree.
It doesn't matter if they maybe don't know the name of every Iron Maiden record. Who cares? If they like those few songs and they think it looks cool and they're showing the flag, well, why not? What harm does it do? I mean, yeah, maybe it might be a little bit insincere, but so what?
What if you have this Miley Cyrus fan then? She's like, what is that? And they look it up and they're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, this is rock and roll.
Yeah,
I listen to pop. Now I'm listening to
soaring vocals and cool songwriting.
Guys who play instruments.
Yeah.
A guy pressing a button on.
And then that's just the gateway. You start with Iron Maiden, and everyone's got these streaming apps now that'll. Okay, now Judas Priest. That sounds scary. What's that?
Like this, recommend this.
Yeah, just toss them down a little path, and then you just need that introduction. What was your introduction to metal, JP? And what was the first thing that kind of? Because I'm assuming you say you listen to nothing but metal now, but you probably were a kid, and you listened to other things growing up.
Come out of the womb with my Black Sabbath album or anything, but no, for me, Kiss, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah, 1976 Destroyer. So, and a lot of people look back at Kiss now and kind of roll their eyes. There's the Gene Simmons and his personality and the glam and the age and all that stuff. But we got to set the tone here, right? Okay,
right.
So I'm around 7 years old or so, and you have to think, okay, what was popular on the radio at the time? Okay, metal existed. You had Zeppelin, you had Sabbath, you had Deep Purple in the mid-70s, but they weren't huge radio hits. They were touring acts, metal and hard rock. It wasn't even called metal at that point. Still was acid rock or hard rock or whatever.
Right.
It didn't have the widespread exposure. Okay, so on the radio, you're hearing what was popular in 75, 76. You're hearing Bee Gees, ABBA.
I don't mind a little Bee Gees.
John Denver.
Yeah.
Simon and Garfunkel, Supremes, Elton John, Billy Joel.
Right.
All great artists in their own right. And that's the kind of stuff that I was hearing in my house. But then, so you think about, okay, John Denver and ABBA. And then along comes Gene Simmons.
Right.
And he's got the demon boots. He's got the battle axe bass. And he's spitting blood. And he's breathing fire. He's got the bat wings. He's like, God of Thunder. I'm like, oh my God, Elton John.
Yeah.
Over there. Gene and Kiss, like, kabang. Just warped my fragile little mind.
Right.
And I would get those damn Kiss records out of the public library, because you could go to the public library and sign out records. And I would do that constantly. So that was the gateway. Kiss, 100%. Right there.
My mother always tells me this sad sob story about how she went away for a while from home. She came home and all of her posters, mostly Kiss posters, were all ripped down from the walls. Her mom's like, those ugly guys. You want those ugly guys on the wall? They're so ugly. Those ugly guys.
Yeah, demons and monsters and
then you listen to their music and it's like rock and roll all night.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because it was, looking back on it, it was very melodic rock music, but compared to the other stuff at the time, it's like, oh my God,
stood out.
It really did. It was heavy for the time, and I think a lot of people don't have that. Younger fans don't have that perception or appreciation, because it was heavy at the time, and people say Kiss isn't metal. Yeah, well, but it was.
Right.
And it was. And it's kind of one of those things. It's like, there's a lot of historical revisionism when you talk about bands like Kiss and Led Zeppelin. It's like, okay, well, you look at here, this is the parallel example I draw every time. I look at the automobile industry. Mm-hmm. So you look at a modern car, it's got air brakes and computer controlled power steering, fuel injection. You look at the Model T Ford, it doesn't have any of that, but does that mean it's not a car anymore? No, of course. It was the first car. So when you see Kiss doing their thing with corpse paint and spitting blood and breathing fire, that's metal. That's at the template for a lot of the more showboating type bands. So anyway, I can talk all night about that, but that's kind of like, okay, Kiss got me going, and then it just evolved. It's like, oh, okay, who's this? This is Iron Maiden, and this is Judas Priest, and on it goes.
I love the Kiss rant, because this is the second time we brought them up in this episode so far.
I know, we got to get off Kiss, get off some more. Let's talk about Amorphous or some new bands like Black Fate. Yeah,
Black Fate, right? So let's talk a little bit more about some of the awesome things that you've been involved in, and then we'll check out some more music after that. Yeah. This is the other awesome thing that you have on your. We have so many things on your plate, but this is the other huge thing I think you have on your plate is your work for metalrules.com.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm currently the manager of metalrules.com, which is one of the world's largest and longest running heavy metal webzines.
Wow.
We started in 95, Canadian based. Evil G out of Newfoundland is an early adapter of the web and started it back doing the HTML type programming in 95. And I came on board around 1999. Yeah. Earlier in the show, I mentioned there was 5 big things that happened around 99, 2000 in my life. And that was the second one, metalrules.com. So as a contributor for years, I just worked my way up into the position of managing editor. And now that consumes a large part of my free time.
Yeah, no kidding. So, okay, I'll read some of the stats here. Okay, with staff in a dozen nations, we have an extensive database of over 10,000 album reviews, at least, I would say, right? That's over. This is over, right? 1,000 interviews, 1,000 concert reviews, and you have personally written almost 3,000 of those 10,000 reviews.
I like reviewing stuff. Anyone who read my opinion, thank you very much. Yeah. And I hear an album and I say, I have some ideas about that, and I jot them down. I don't profess to be a very talented or skilled writer, but I can blog with the best of them and say, hey, here's this new band, Black Fate. They rule. The end.
And you also have the largest collection of metal-related book reviews. And this, I got to come over to your house. You showed me just a quick glimpse of some of your book collection, which is crazy impressive. But I guess when you are someone willing to not only willing to, but able to do a really good job of reviewing books and literature, you want to do it, and you're giving that exposure, people are going to want to send you books. So I think a lot of the books, your collection is probably people just sending it to you to review.
That is so true.
Yeah.
About almost 8 years ago now, we were looking at the website and thinking, what can we do to stand apart from a busy, crowded environment?
Right.
Every metal website does concert reviews, interviews, CD reviews. I thought, very few people write book reviews. And so I started to go through, and then I started to contact publishers and say, hey, you know what? I want to review your book. And they're like, really? Okay, sure. Here's a free copy. I'm like, I'm onto something here. And aside from my own kind of greed to want to build up my metal library, it's like I can support these authors, guys who are writing their life story about metal. Rob Halford, new autobiography, right?
Sure, yeah.
And so over time, I became kind of known as the metal book guy, and now they just show up every one a week easily. And it's actually overwhelming because I've read 500 books about heavy metal now, and that just adds to the knowledge base. I
was shocked how prolific you are as a reviewer, because we've talked about this in the past. I've clicked on the occasional link of yours that you've shared on social media and read an article here or there, but I haven't read, I've religiously read everything that you've written. Well,
yeah, no one would want to. What a waste of time.
No, I'm just saying, but I have checked it out, but I just didn't realize until preparing for this show, which is sort of, this episode tonight is kind of for me. And as there's 4 people left in the chat, they'll know that. This is for me because I am really interested in what you've done in the metal community, your legacy, and just is my excuse to find out even more about what you've done.
Bring a bit. Yeah.
So it's definitely a guilty pleasure. I think every episode is going to be like that a little bit. But anyway, I was looking up. You have a 10-part series that is in the works right now of essays about heavy metal. And you say each one of them has lots of pictures. So if you get bored, there's lots of pictures.
Totally.
You are, I believe, 8 in now of 10. You have 2 more left to go.
That's right. I'm busy working at essay number 9. For the 25th anniversary of the website, I wanted to do something a little bit special to distinguish it and add some content. I know there's a lot of great websites out there, but a lot of them have ads or clickbait or like rank the Iron Maiden albums. It's like, really? That hasn't been done 1,000 times before. And yeah, it draws traffic and stuff, but I wanted to go slightly more intellectual. So I said, I'm going to pick a topic and write an essay on it, and mostly visual history. So here's like 200 pictures of chronicling the evolution of heavy metal bands that have played with a symphony orchestra from 1970 to today, and then just work through it. And then if someone wants to click on and scroll through and go, oh, I have that album, that's cool. Oh, I didn't know that band played with an orchestra. Just fun, light reading. And then when they're all compiled, 10 of them, it'll be like a nice little encapsulation, and then celebrating the website. Because a lot of other websites don't do that. They're just publishing, like I said, let's rank the Iron Maiden albums this week again.
Yeah. And the list that you have so far, European supergroups, concept albums, live in Japan.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, is it what's that one? Like all bands that have played live in Japan, or do they get big in Japan, or
albums bands that have released a live album recorded live in Japan? And it's a real hot spot for touring bands. So you don't hear about bands from Japan playing like live in Oklahoma, right? But if you think how many live in Japan albums are there, there's hundreds. Because everyone wants to go there and play. So all the way from Deep Purple and Rainbow and Kiss in the 70s to today, bands go to Japan and do these big concerts because everyone's big in Japan, right? So I thought there's a thread here, so I stared to pull it together. I was like,
everyone's big in Japan.
Everyone's big in Japan.
Is that a height joke? Anyway.
I love it. Very clever.
I think that's what it is, JP. Symphonic albums, which is pretty cool. That's Guao Apes have a song called Big in Japan about this exactly.
The
Guano Apes. The Guano Apes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Sweet.
Big in Japan. And there are bands here that we've never heard of, or the average metal fan haven't heard of, from Japan or playing Japan. They're just utterly massively successful. We're talking, selling hundreds of thousands, maybe even the low millions of albums in Japan, and they would come here and play in a bar.
Right.
Yeah, it's just blows my mind. Their market is so concentrated and so loyal, and you can go to Japan and in 1 week, so you fly in on the Friday and then you do 5 concerts, Osaka, Tokyo, all the 5 big cities, and then bullet train between each, and then fly out in 1 week. You've toured Japan, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Once the world opens up again, I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, Japan's on my bucket list. I've never been there, so
I want to go.
I would love to go to Japan. Re-recorded albums. You had a show, an episode that was talked about this a lot, I think, is recently.
Yeah, I kind of do some crossover for ideas that I've developed in the essays. I'll also do on the radio show just to flesh them out. So there's a lot of bands that say, I want to re-record this song or this album and this old songs because maybe we're fighting with a singer and we have a new singer, or maybe I have a new record label and they're not paying me, so I'm going to re-record them so I can get paid. You know, these kind of, there's lots of different reasons why bands going back and re-record their own songs and try to resell them to fans.
Well, yeah, you and I were talking about In Flames earlier, and they just re-recorded Clayman, and there was some divisiveness over that. I don't know if you heard about that at all.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They did. They remixed, remastered most of the album and added 6 re-recorded tracks to that one. And well, because if you think about it, right, In Flames, no original members left in the band.
Yes.
So now it's like, well, one of the new guys play the new songs and put their stamp on it and their flair, and let's revisit this, the 20th anniversary of a classic album. So why not give it a little shine up? You know, I think it's a great idea.
I like it. I actually like it. I mean, Clayman is more their kind of when they delved into metalcore and they got in that kind of sort of that kind of feel, starting to get into more, you know, that kind of sound, and they just put their more recent spin on it. Like if you listen to the latest album by In Flames, they sounds like they took that sensibility and then applied it to Clayman. So
that's right. And the beautiful thing about those re-recorded albums, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Listen to your old favorite. Or if you're like big metal nerds like us, you could listen to them side by side, compare. Oh, I like this version better, or that's cool what they did with this song or that song. You know, and that's when you're going for a deep dive into the In Flames catalog, comparing song by song and solo by solo.
Right. The heavy metal tribute albums. Is it just an album, an ode to heavy metal? Is that what these albums are?
Well, these are sort of compilation collections of albums that are. I'm sure you probably have a few in your collection, like a tribute to Iron Maiden or a tribute to Judas Priest or a tribute to Accept. And there's a lot of neat ones out there. So there's a couple hundred. So there's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but enough to sort of make a neat essay. So there's been, for example, Nuclear Blast put out a tribute to ABBA. And they got all their artists on the Nuclear Blast label to do an ABBA song, just as kind of this joke. And there's tributes to any band, all the big ones, you know, Maiden, Priest, Sabbath, and all those guys, and then tributes to obscure bands as well. So I'm
gonna have to listen to the ABBA one. My fiance is an ABBA fan.
It's a lot of fun.
So mixing that in with some metal, I think that might be a perfect thing to play in the car. We both agree on.
You can meet in the middle.
Meet in the middle. Right.
My wife likes that one too. The ABBA metal tribute. Yeah.
There you go. See, American supergroups, which is self-explanatory. Canadian heavy metal magazines. This one I found really interesting. In this article, like I said, I was preparing for the show and I started going through these. This one got me hooked. This one sucked me in, and I started realizing I gotta get it was this morning. I was still like preparing for this for the show because it's been crazy at work this week. And it's like I'm gonna be late for work. I gotta pack lunch. I gotta get going.
I gotta put the computer down. Yeah.
Right. But this was pretty cool. Metallion. If anyone recognizes these albums, some of these, any of these magazines, some of them will. Meat. I loved that name.
Meat.
Here's your Toronto, right?
What did Meat stand for? MEAT.
Right. It was metal. Was it Toronto?
It's on the tip of your tongue. Yeah, you got Toronto. Metal in Toronto.
Metal in Toronto.
You're close.
Metal. Entertainment? No.
Yeah.
Metal.
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Is it right?
Events. Metal events.
Metal events at Toronto?
Around Toronto.
Okay. I knew it was Toronto. I remember seeing Toronto in the article. So you see, you knew I actually read it.
Totally.
Brave words and bloody knuckles, right? Brave words and bloody knuckles, right? So
about 15 years ago, the metal publishing industry completely collapsed. Virtually every major metal magazine failed or went out of business.
Right.
When advertising dropped and printing prices rose. So I thought I want to do a little tribute to hard copy magazines, and it wasn't. They haven't been around that long. It's sort of only a 15 to 20 year period. So I went back to the early days of the early 80s, and there were these guys who said, let's do a heavy metal magazine because it's cool.
Right.
And I just kind of packed them all into this article, and it was easy because I just go to my bookshelf and pull out, here's issue number 1 of Meat, and here's issue number 1 of Brave Words, and take a picture of it, and there you go. You know?
So you've kept a lot of these, hey?
Oh yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
From day one. So that was like more like here's a picture of my collection of my metal magazines, you know.
Yeah, BWBK. I didn't subscribe to it, but we could buy them at the local what was it? Drugstore?
No, totally. Yeah, they're
the drugstore.
Yeah, they had good distribution around Canada.
And I remember buying them, and just they come with CDs all the time.
Totally.
Right? Yeah. So you have little demos of these like really heavy stuff. You know, I would say there was 3 things that turned me into a metalhead. Number one would be my brother, because he started listening to Limp Bizkit and Korn and Disturbed and those and Papa Roach, those kind of bands. And that just kind of got me. Oh, hey, there's
crunchy guitar.
There's a little bit of something, you know, a little bit of something. It was that. And then, like I said, those magazines were huge. Just like the 4 or 5 of them that I picked up from the local convenience store. And then the last was, and I wonder if anyone here has heard of this, because I would love to get this guy on the show. I've already been trying to stalk him online because he's kind of a metal. He kind of got me into metal. Well, also I'll mention Satan's Butter Tarts in the chat got me into metal too, but that was in college. Yeah, but Mad Dog Michaels. Have you heard of Mad Dog Michaels?
He's a Calgary guy?
No, he's based out of Toronto.
So the guy from the Anvil Fan, the guy who drinks the beer up his nose?
No.
Different Mad Dog. Let's call him Mad Dog Brown. Okay, yeah, different. Yeah, Mad Dog Michaels. I don't know. Let's find this guy. Mad Dog, if you're out there, contact us.
Yeah, I want to reach out to him because he had this show called Chart Attack, and it was on YTV of all places.
Right.
And it would air at I think 11 p.m. Eastern, but was 9 o'clock here, so I could catch it.
Right. Before bedtime.
It wasn't before bedtime.
Yeah.
And on the advertisements, it would show like bands, and they would play stuff like that too, like punk, like Gob and just Green Day and stuff like that. But when you actually tune into the show, it was a grab bag where you could see Papa Roach, but also there was Dimmu Borgir.
Oh wow! Right,
Dimmu Borgir was on there. In Flames was on there. Right. So what else was on there? So, some pretty heavy stuff, kind of squeezed in there.
Totally.
Kind of got squeezed in there on this YTV Kids Network show, and it was just.
That's awesome.
It just opened my eyes. So I would love to find Mad Dog. He's a radio DJ now. He actually got, I think it said, I was looking up, he got canned on one radio station. Everyone was like outraged because they loved him. He was beloved.
He was probably too cool for that station.
Probably, yeah. Now he's somewhere else. I would love to interview the guy and talk about his days of Chart Attack.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I want to make that happen. I'd love to talk to him. He probably no one ever reaches out to him to talk about Chart Attack, but I would love to.
He's like, you remember that show?
It was instrumental to me becoming a metalhead. So,
and we've all got those touch points. And if you're on the chat, tell us what got you into metal.
That's
Throw it out
great
there.
point. Yes.
Hey, what was your gateway band? What was your band that you first loved?
Great
your older
point.
brother, your mom? You stole your mom's In Flames records, whatever it was.
Yeah, chat. Let us know. It'll be a bit of a delay, but as soon as those come up, I'm going to read them because I want to. Yeah, we want to hear it. Yeah. What got you into metal? What were the gateway bands that got you into it? But anyway, so that's the 10-part series. Can we get a sneak peek of what the I guess
the next
9th article, and 10th article are going to be?
Covers albums. This month it'll be published November 1st. Covers albums. There's a lot of those bands who just do all cover tunes, right? Yeah, and they're a lot of fun. So there's again a couple hundred of those, and exploring. Okay, here's more trivia. What was the first metal band to do a covers album or EP? And you know this. I know you know this.
Black Sabbath?
No. Well, they did have a couple covers on their first record.
But you're saying a full covers album?
Full covers album, and where it's just like, we're doing other people's songs.
And you're saying I know this?
You know this, yeah. We all know this.
It's not Motorhead, is it?
Nope. Think of the most famous covers album you know. I'm putting you on the spot, sorry.
No, that's okay. Maybe the chat can help me out. Covers albums.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh,
the bands that got me into metal. Yeah, Motley Crue, Poison, Skid Row.
Motley Crue, Poison, and Skid Row got Jason into metal.
Beautiful start. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
why not? They all rule. Starts with M. Metallica.
Oh,
Garage Days.
Oh yes,
Garage Days.
I was just listening to songs from that album the other day.
Isn't that crazy? So that was the first band that they had probably had enough money and backing from the label to say, we're going to just do this fun little thing. And it started to grow and grow and grow. And now there's like 10 a year come out, bands saying, I'm just going to go re-record my old favorite songs that I grew up listening to.
They were the first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty wild, eh?
Wow, that is wild because they're not.
It's not what you would expect.
No, because thinking of metal bands, I'm thinking older. I'm thinking older.
I was thinking Zeppelin, Sabbath, and I was just racking my brains like, no, it was Metallica. Another first for Metallica.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. Like. It's funny. I was actually listening to some of their covers, and I was like, "Oh, who's this band trying to pretend to be Metallica?" Some of their covers are stronger than other covers. Some of them are really good, and some of them are not so good, not as good. But okay, how about we check out some more tunes? We're gonna check out Le Feh. Lufeh, power prog metal, Los Angeles-based power prog metal. They are American and Brazilian members, brought together by the Brazilian drummer Batera Lufeh.
Oh,
so it's the drummer's last name. So we have another drummer, a drummer keeping the band.
Drummers rule.
Yeah. The last dark fate of the drummer is the guy who kept the band going, and this is the guy who brought the band together. So their second release album, Luggage Falling Down, released this past April. The band has apparently had issues with having to switch singers last minute. And so they switched lead vocalists last minute for their second album, and then they had an issue with drums that were supposed to come in that didn't come in time, and a bunch of issues getting this going. So they decided, you know what, we're just going to do it live. We're just going to do this live performance, this live show, and it's great. If you go, we're going to actually take a look at it. Let's just watch a bit till we get bored. This is I think it's broken into tracks too, but this is the entire album that they just released on YouTube, recorded live. So we're going to get that live concert feel, which a lot of people are missing right now. I know. Although there are some live shows. Have you been? You're big into live shows, JP.
I am.
Almost every live show I happen to get out to here in the city, I bump into you. Have you been to any of the more recent live performance shows?
No. You know what? I'm laying low. I haven't been to a live one since I guess it was February or March, just before this all hit. I can't remember the last one, but over the years I've seen a lot of shows, so a lot of stories.
Yeah, do you plan to get back out there when things get back to normal?
100%.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's pull this up. We're going to let's check the chat really quickly. Satan's Butter Tart says, my dad had some Sabbath and Deep Purple records, which I loved. My sister got me into a lot of grunge in the 90s, then eventually discovered new metal like Korn, and it just evolved from there. Pretty standard story. I guess before Korn, I was big into Marilyn Manson and White Zombie too.
All great acts.
Yeah, and then Jason's like, fuck yeah, there was some good metal in the 90s.
Totally. How could you not like that stuff like White Zombie? Just
Right, yeah, and then Satan's Butter Tarts got me into some really, like, for me it was just mind-blowing stuff when I was in college, which was like, I'd never heard of Opeth before, and they had blown my mind. I was like, what is this? What is this crazy music? But now it just sounds normal to me.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you're usually listening while he's in the shower, listening to his Blackwater Park, doing his hair.
Exactly. All right, we're going to try to full screen this. Didn't quite work last time, but it doesn't. That's good enough. All right, some Lufeh. And we're just going to, let's see if we can, it's progressive. Let's see if we can figure out when the song is over before the next song starts.
All right.
This is our challenge. And if we can, that's when we'll stop it. But if we can't, we're just going to keep listening.
All right. That's right. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to pause the tunes. And all right, Lufeh. There we go. Presents. Ooh. Some build up.
Mm-hmm. Gotta have that anticipation. So luggage falling down, like, is that when you open your overhead compartment in the plane and the luggage?
It's the worst, isn't it? Yeah, it's the worst. So have you heard of this band before?
Yeah, I actually have a digital copy of this that was sent to me as well through the media people.
Right. There he is. Brazilian.
They've actually got some good production value too, with the the riser and the racks, the power racks up top, and the lights.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, let's say, musicians of a certain age. They're obviously a little more experienced, a bit of gray hair in there, so they've been practicing and playing for a long time.
Right. Do you want it a bit louder, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm automatically thinking Evergrey.
I hear, a little Evergrey for sure. Folks in the chat, do you hear any influences here? Do they remind you of anybody? I'm getting a little Dream Theater.
Oh yeah, most certainly.
I mean, obviously every band is their own unique creation, but everyone has influences. Everything's a remix. Nice.
Too many times I've been home, lying on the floor, and the dreams are flowing over from the holes within my soul. Hey, yeah.
You can tell this is recorded live too. There's no lip syncing here. It's
Compromise and find my way.
It's funny. It's awesome music, and I'm not going to downplay it by saying this next thing, but I would totally put this on while cleaning the house. This would be perfect for that.
Yeah, it's not too aggressive.
Right.
It's not too poppy. It's just that kind of mid-level crunch.
Right.
It's got a bit of momentum to it, and
I know I'll find my way. I know I'll find my way. Too many times I've been home, lying on the floor.
yeah, there's definitely an 80s rock sensibility underlying it too, where it's like they've got verse, chorus, verse, but then there's a lot of intricacy in between.
Right.
I've gotta get a hold to compromise and find my way.
You're seeing more and more bands doing this too. This live performance, recorded performance.
Okay.
Recently, Woodhawk did something like this for Big Nate's podcast. Actually,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, live streams. Just you got to get that content out there.
Yeah, they're not spring chickens anymore, eh? Except for the lead vocalist. He looks kind of young.
He looks a little younger, but so you got a bit of Rush in there too.
Yeah,
some Rush
there's some Rush. Yep.
70s Rush, Spirit of the Radios.
Definitely, can definitely hear that. I like it.
Definitely.
Too many times I've been home, lying on the floor.
The thing I like about this, there's a lot of bands that in this, I'm going to qualify my remarks, but they can get into overplaying.
Yes.
Now in metal, you can never overplay. But, in the prog genre, it can get self-indulgent. And so these guys tend to circle back to the song. We had a nice guitar solo.
Right.
We had a nice keyboard solo, and then some drums, fill, mini drum solo, and then back to the song.
Right.
Oh, there it is. There's a break.
We heard it. Okay.
We heard it.
Pause. Okay, we'll come back to that.
Thank you, Tokyo. Tokyo Dome for our 5th consecutive night. I'd go see these guys. I'd pay money to see these guys.
I would too. That'd be a great show. A feel good show.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're singing about because I wasn't listening to the lyrics too closely, but it made me feel good.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about show and tell. How about we do some show and tell?
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
sure.
There's some other things I want to talk about too, but I asked you to bring some of your cool collection. So let's take a look at some of the things you have. There was what was the book you were showing me earlier?
Well, we talked about books earlier, so let's stay on that.
Sure.
Shall we?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So, books. Over time, I've amassed this monster book collection, and I'll show you a few of the original books published about heavy metal from the 80s. How about that?
Excellent.
All right, let's do it. And this is deep metal nerd territory. My friend and your friend Christine from the Nocturne Table
nice.
should go, JP, level 5 nerd alert. Here we go. We're going in.
Hey, come on! I think all metalheads are a little nerdy, right?
Yeah.
Did you want to?
Do you want me to hold them up? You hold them up?
Yeah, maybe. Well, how have you show them?
We're just going to blast through a couple. This is kind of stuff that I've been collecting since I was a kid. Early books about heavy metal. Like here we got Iron Maiden on the front.
Yeah.
We've got Cream, AC/DC, Kiss. Referred to as metal.
Good point.
Twisted Sister,
referred to
heavy metal.
Twisted Sister, they're glam metal. They're metal.
Heavy Metal Thunder. These are early encyclopedias of lists of metal bands. In the back we've got Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Van Halen, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, Rush, Scorpions, Judas Priest.
Nice.
Heavy metal
Masters.
Jimi Hendrix. There's a good old Eddie on the front.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Made the cover of this book.
Oh.
Metal Masters. So 1985, 87, somewhere in there. So a lot of neat old rarities in the collection. And then we've got...
this is so much fun.
Then we got...
I love this.
New independent publications. You have a very rare Sonata Arctica English autobiography and the Nightwish autobiography.
Nice.
So those are kind of cool.
Is there ghostwriters on those or?
Nope. Well, yeah, I'm sure, to help with the translation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So those are kind of cool rarities, stuff that I've been enjoying reading.
Autobiography, the Nightwish one. I'm just, who from the band wrote it? Or was it a combination of
that was sort of someone on the band's inner circle, Mr. Olia. I'm going to mispronounce his name, Mape Olia. And he sort of toured with the band and worked with the band forever. And it's sort of officially endorsed and authorized. And it's kind of like the official.
Oh, it's a biography, not... Oh, you said autobiography.
Yes,
so
excuse me. Yeah, this one.
No worries.
I'm getting them mixed up here. The book guy, I should know the difference, right?
No, that's okay. You've read so many books. Sonata Arctica too, yeah.
It's just...
I love me some Sonata Arctica.
It's just pretty rare. This is originally published only in Finland, and then they made a couple hundred copies for the English market, and I managed to grab one.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow. All right, let's keep going. A little bit more.
And then, do we want to talk about maybe comic books for a minute?
Oh, yes, you showed me that earlier. That is gorgeous. I definitely want to...
okay, so we'll start with this. We'll work backwards in time. So we've got... I'm a fan of comics. Like, I'm not a big comic collector. I used to read comics a lot when I was a kid, but I noticed there's a big crossover between the comic community and the heavy metal community.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this is
actually, many of the metal guys, people from the metal scene. I see at the Comic Expo when I go cosplay and stuff.
Totally.
A ton of them.
It's a natural fit. So here we have now this one, recent Megadeth, Death by Design, celebrating 35 years of the legendary band. 35 artists, and they all contributed their stories to the book.
Were you saying that was when they re-released a bunch of their greatest hits, right?
Yeah, it was their 35th anniversary greatest hits package that came out called Four Heads on Warheads, which was 35 songs from their career, and then they tied it in with these 35 different artists doing Megadeth, and every story in here is related to a Megadeth song. And has like Vic Rattlehead riding in the post-apocalyptic.
Here, I'll pop it on my camera. I'll show the folks here on the chat,
and I'll dig up some other treasure too.
Sure. All right, let's check this out. Oh, this is sick. This is cool. Who on the chat wants this?
That's right. You have to answer some hard trivia questions to win that from me.
Yeah. Oh, this is so cool.
And what's kind of interesting is that as, we don't want to talk too much industry stuff, but as bands evolve, they have to find new revenue streams, right? It's not people don't buy records anymore. So what are they doing? They're doing more merchandise, and you're seeing stuff like games and comics and beer and hot sauce, and all that kind of stuff.
I like that. Yeah, hot sauce is good. I mean, I'm a hot sauce guy.
There's probably at least 20 metal hot sauces. There's a guy who collects them, and he puts them up on Facebook or whatever. Here's the new obituary hot sauce or whatever. And
the guys in the chat, Satan's Butter Tart saying it's beautiful. Loves the book that we just showed, the Megadeth book. And Jason says, I want that, but I don't like my chances at the trivia questions.
Might be just cheaper to go out to a comic store and buy it. But yeah, let's blast through some comics. How about this?
Okay, yeah. Here, I'll turn it over to you. There, now they can see you. Slayer.
Comic.
Whoa.
Yeah, Repentless. This one came out. Alice Cooper comic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, graphic novel that came out to tie into the Last Temptation album back in '94.
Which of those are you willing to let me read?
All of them.
Oh my God.
How about a Gwar comic?
Yeah. That lends itself to comics pretty
Totally.
good.
They are made to be superheroes. How about the old 70s Alice Cooper comic? Whoa. Yeah, pretty neat. When Alice goes in the insane asylum. Marvel Comics.
Whoa.
Thor comic.
Thor. Yeah. Oh yeah, you have a history with Thor. Weren't you
Thor's
like a manager of his, a touring manager for a weekend or something like that?
Yeah, I just helped him out when he was in the province and needed someone to show him around. So jumped on the grenade.
Is he still jacked?
Oh, totally. Yeah. when you're that big, like he was competing against Arnold and all those guys, right?
Right.
Mr. Olympia.
Right.
So you don't lose that muscle mass very quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
How about this one? Another Megadeth cryptic writings tie-in with leather cover.
Here turn it back. Yeah, we can see the shine on it.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
I should take these out of the.
Oh no, that's good. No, the shine I mean is like the cover's metallic.
Yeah,
it's
embossed leather with silver ink.
Oh my God, it is leather. Holy shit.
That's pretty neat.
I've never saw a leather comic before. This is fucking cool. Holy fuck. Oh, and I'll say thanks to Jay, who's in the chat, who gave me the idea about showing off collections.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then I'm like, who's got like one of probably the greatest collections around? Kiss.
We talked a lot about Kiss tonight.
There we go.
We'll do Kiss again.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they've got a bunch of comics, don't they?
They do. Well, we've got Mars Attacks, tie in with Kiss. That's in the old movie.
Mars Attacks, Kiss.
And, of course, the piece of Resistance. Kiss meets Archie.
Kiss meets Archie. Oh, yes. And they've got the paint on them.
And I did. Yes, I paid a few dollars for this. Again, nerd alert. Maximum.
Oh wow.
Iron Maiden, the Legacy of the Beasts.
Wow.
Yeah. And more Iron Maiden. So yeah, comics.
This
all
is the coolest.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff
I'm a
that
comic book guy as
yeah.
well, so that's just like wow. You've taken two things that I love, and you show me a combination of both of them in a short span of time. That's. Yeah. I'm drooling over this. I'm drooling.
We're gonna have a reading party after. So. A lot of fun stuff. Yeah, and that's just the kind of, and I've learned over the years, you got to kind of grab it when it's there because it'll disappear, it'll become rare, and then if you really want it, you're going to be paying big money on the secondary market or eBay or wherever. So it's like if you see it and go, I don't know if I could buy a $5 comic, go for it because it'll be worth $20 in 2 years.
Right. Yeah.
It's not even about value. It's just like I want to buy them and read them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a number of comics. The only metal comic that I own is from a BC band called Hallowed Catharsis. They released
I don't have that one.
They released it's a small comic to go with which album was it again? It was not their current album, but the one before. What was that?
Someone just saying, "Hey, you guys rule."
Garwin likes the stream. Hold on, let me check that out. Johnny Alberta has liked. Garvin, thank you so much, Garvin, for following the stream. Appreciate it. I want to see you in the chat. What do you think of the episode so far? Man, JP, we got to have you on here. This is going to be the last time we're going to have you on here because just to come and just do show and tell is incredible.
Oh, I forgot these two. We'll do them real quick.
Okay.
Hardcover Children of Bodom comic.
Hold on. Let's just get the camera. There you go. Nice.
The tie-in. So these bands are like, let's do an album and a comics about. How about the Hammerfall comic?
Ooh.
Yeah, so you get the album. It comes in there, and
nice.
You could read the adventures of Mr. Hammerfall.
Mr. Hammerfall himself.
Hector Hammerfall. Yeah.
Hector. Nice.
That's actually the mascot's name, Hector.
That's a good name.
Yeah, it's funny too. Speaking back to trivia, so a lot of metal bands have these mascots, and based on the tradition of Iron Maiden, where they just called him Eddie, right?
Right.
So
right.
every mascot just has this really plain name. It's like an in-joke. It's like, what would you call this guy? He should be like Gigantor the Magnificent.
Right.
I just know his name's Hector.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of just really simple names like Charlie from Overkill.
Right.
It's like, okay, let's just make fun of ourselves. You know, the Dio demon from Dio, his name's Murray. Murray the demon.
Murray. For crying out loud.
Oh, trivia madness.
That was fun. That was a hell of a lot of fun.
Comics.
That was a hell of a lot of fun. Okay, I think we'll go back to some more tunes, and then when we come back,
some more Lefebvre. Excuse me.
And then when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Rock Detector.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right. Let's pull this up. There we go. Oh, that's a chat. There we go. There it is.
So you're like a natural at this. You know, you're segueing beautifully into the third thing that happened in 1999. It was Rock Detector.
Right.
So you're keeping this flowing. It's like you're prepared.
Yeah, believe it or not, this might seem a bit random, but there's some preparation here. But at the same time, I'm letting things flow too, man. We went on a crazy rant about Kiss and
comic books.
And I talked about my mom and my fiance. Like, who cares? I mean, this is fun. This is about conversation. Actually, it's funny. My brother, my younger brother, the one who actually was one of the reasons I got into metal, because he liked some of the more mainstream metal out there. Mm-hmm. He never really listened to my old show, Rock Bottom. Like he knew it was out there. He checked.
Too late for him.
You could get it on a podcast
podcast
later, right? So he would check it out just out of curiosity and say, "Oh yeah, you're doing a great job and stuff," but it's just not really for me.
Yeah.
He watched the first 2 episodes of the webcast, and he says he really enjoyed it. He's like, so, you know what? Maybe I'm not totally into some of the music you play, but I love the conversation
and the lifestyle.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But he stayed for the conversation. He's like, you know what? I just love listening to what you guys are talking about. It was really, really interesting.
Oh, that's good.
So that means maybe there's something to this. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise that I decided to walk away from that radio show and start my own thing. You know what I mean?
Right. And now you have.
This is the part of it. This is the part of it I enjoy the most. Is the chit chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because let's admit it. Traditional radio is kind of a restrictive. It's a one-way medium. This is much more interactive, audio, visual conversation. It's a beautiful thing.
Do whatever you want. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Let's do some more. Here's some more. Yeah. I'm gonna pause. There we go. All right. The Unknown. So I'm really curious if this is going to distinguish itself from the last song at all. There you go. Tempo change.
More progressive time changes and things.
Yep. I forgot what that red thing is on top of his drums.
If you're looking at the other side, he's got a skull on top of one of his cymbals.
Okay.
And the other one's maybe a skull or a flame or something. You can see Mr. Skullhead there.
Walk alone in the unknown. Take it slow, find out where to go.
Oh.
We'll overcome the things when we find the empty spaces. Give it time to fill.
This is really cool. It reminds me a lot of mid-90s European progressive power metal bands like Elegy and Pagan's Mind.
Oh yeah, Pagan's Mind.
Guys, that kind of stuff. Like just songwriting, but still a lot of technicality to it.
Well, Pagan's Mind, though, that they're linked to Camelot because isn't that the same vocalist? Wasn't it Pagan's Mind? Am I thinking of the right guy?
I don't think there's any crossover. Because Nils is the singer of Pagan's Mind for a long time, but yeah, I'm sure they've toured together and
maybe that's what it is.
Crossover, yeah.
Yeah, there's something I'm thinking of, but
they might have been on the same record label back in the day.
Never can
And the singer looks like a young Fabio Leone with the hair and the jaw.
find the things to see, can seize with you believe. 'Cause there's no need to know all the secrets in this life. There's need for compromise to peace your heart inside.
See, now a bass solo. Last song we had guitar and keyboard, now we got a bass solo. That's awesome. Bassists don't get enough love.
Right. Oh, I was thinking a Seventh Wonder.
Oh yeah, Seventh Wonder, that's Tommy Karavik's old band
Yeah,
before he joined
that's
Pamela.
what I was thinking of.
Another great band too.
Right.
Yeah, these guys are more progressive than Seventh Wonder, but still,
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
same kind of trajectory.
Yeah. Actually makes me want to listen to some Pagan's Mind.
Yeah, for sure. They're overdue for a new album. Definitely overdue.
There must... Oh,
Nice.
all right. Do we want more?
Sure, I'm with
Do
you.
you want more?
Yeah, throw it on in the background, or we could. I like it.
Actually, yeah, we can do that too. We can talk. Well, let's just... You can bring her down a bit, let her play in the background. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah,
As long as we don't get any commercials. This is my garage.
you can jump on it. Yeah,
This is my garage. The trim your balls. Do you watch YouTube at all?
try not to.
Yeah, it's probably
Only
for
your
it's probably for the best. There's an ad on there, Manscaped ad I see all the time.
Oh,
and it's just
that cannot
it's-
end well.
It's just like no, I don't know. No, I don't want to shave off all my hair. If you, hey, all the power to you. If someone wants to do that, it's your
Manscaping is a thing.
Manscape all you want.
Yeah, that's
I mean, but just don't try to sell me your trimmer anymore, please. Okay. Anyway, Jason from the chat saying there must be many Gwar comics. If there isn't, there should be.
It's a series. Where's Gwar here? This was number 1
Yeah.
that we had.
Yeah.
And I don't know what issue they're up to now. You know, I love Gwar and I love comics, but I didn't feel the need to buy like every single issue of the Gwar comic. It's like I'll buy number 1 and put it in plastic. Right?
That's nice.
When it comes,
Well, come. All right. Here, I'm going to turn this down a little bit more, and we'll just keep letting her play off in the background. There you go. That's some nice background tunes.
I like it.
Thanks, boys. Thanks, boys, from Lefebvre. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not.
I hope so.
Lefebvre.
Because it's the guy's last name.
It's his
right?
last
They want to
name.
insult him.
I know. I'm not trying to insult him at all.
Except those damn Canucks.
Yeah. Batera Lefebvre. All right, so like I said before, we were listening to some tunes that I wanted to chat a little bit about Rock Detector.
Yeah. This is going back a little way in time. So, Rock Detector. I would say, a lot of metal fans are familiar with a big metal database called Metal Archives.
Yep, Metal Archives. Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. I've used them a lot to research shows and stuff like that too. Who was in what band? And then Garwin says, I use the same razor my wife uses to shave her legs.
This is the same one. That's crossover. That's love.
See, and this is why I like the random conversation.
that's
Just throw it in there. You know, metal is why we're here. Rock and metal is why we're here. But
now we talk about shaving.
Throw a little bit of shit in there too. All right. So Rock Detector. You were saying, JP.
I wish that's one thing I did forget to bring is the Rock Detector book. So, Rock Detector was founded by Gary Sharp Young, who was a gentleman from New Zealand. He was a journalist in England in the new wave of British heavy metal days, and he wanted to create, in the early days of the internet, the ultimate heavy metal database. And so he had investors and developers, and he created this thing called rock detector. I mean, I always thought it should be called metal detector. But, But he wanted to expand it a little bit for future growth potential. So what would happen is every nation would have one or two people who were like sort of the official representative, and then they would kind of be responsible for that territory and add information into the database. So the Canadian guy would add the Canadian content, and the German guy would add the German content, and build up this thing. And it was phenomenal. He also had a publishing firm out of England, and so then he would publish physical hard copy books, the encyclopedia. So there was a series of 8 or 9 of them. And over time, I applied to be the Canadian representative. And at first, he said no. And I'm like, oh, that's disappointing, because he said, send me an audition sample of your writing. So I wrote a bio of Annihilator, Great Canadian band, and
sure.
So then a few months later, he got back to me and said, actually, this is actually pretty good. I've changed my mind. Do you want to be the Canadian guy? I'm like, sure. Yeah. So I just became the Canadian contributor and helped build up this database. And unfortunately, the story ends in tragedy, because Mr. Sharp Young died instantly one day of a brain aneurysm, leaving behind a wife and 2 or 3 young kids. Just fell dead.
How old was he?
Mid-30s, early 40s, maybe.
Oh my God, my age.
Just done. Yep.
Wow.
And that was the end of it, because he was sort of the driving force behind all of it. And I still keep in touch with some of the other contributors. And at that time, we were having a bit of some bickering with Metal Archives, who had also just started.
Sure. Yeah.
And they kind of took off, and they're now the biggest metal database in the world, right? And Rock Detector just kind of stalled out. So it was fantastic. And part of the perks of being the representative is that a lot of labels would send you stuff. Hey, write the bio of this, or here's my band. So great source of new material.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the different collections, but you mentioned Metal Archives, and while it's an amazing source, they also are very elitist on what is considered metal and what is not considered metal. I noticed that in the past.
For sure.
Yeah, I've actually tried to make contributions. They're like, well, this band is too industrial to be a metal band. I'm like, well, they're pretty heavy. I mean, yes, they have industrial elements, but you know what I mean? Like Fear Factory made it in. How come these guys can't make it in? You know, that kind of thing, right?
Oh, totally. And it's, I don't want to talk bad.
No. It's their website. It's like, I mean, it's owned by these people, and you have to have you have to draw the line somewhere. Right, you have to draw the line somewhere. So, and that's where they just chose to draw the line. It's an amazing source for information. So,
However, I would argue against that in the sense, because if you're going to present yourself as an authority and call yourself an encyclopedia and say, but we're not including this band because I don't like them. I mean, that's been their long-standing policy. If I don't like the band, it doesn't go in. Can you imagine if the guy who's writing like Encyclopedia Britannica says, I don't like dogs, so we're not putting dogs in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Yeah. I mean, it's just a little childish. So, but there's so many metal bands. I mean, they refuse to put Alice Cooper in, one of the founding guys of all heavy metal. And there's bands they just hate, so they don't put them in. And they're very public about it. Nope, that band sucks. We're not putting them in because it's our website. And if you don't like it, go make your own website. I'm like, oh, well.
Right, but if it's an encyclopedia, there's things in the encyclopedia that aren't nice or that could suck.
Yeah.
Right, but you still include it, right?
I went to look up Hatebreed, and it's not in the database because it's not, Hatebreed's not metal. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Well, yes, they're hardcore, but still. Like,
Slipknot's in there. Slipknot's not in there. They're not metal. Like, give me a frickin' break.
No, they're popular.
They're popular.
They're very popular, and I could see people being like, think it's not cool to like Slipknot because they're really popular, which I don't abide by that. I've been to a Slipknot concert, and it was great. Yeah. It was great with my brother. It was one of those bands that we both like, right? Yeah, so we went together. We had a great time. Slipknot concert was fantastic. They're metal, like. Yeah, they're metal. You could say that they're not my kind of metal, or there's the melodic, it's a little too melodic for me, or a little bit blah, 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 blah. Absolutely. You can say, hey, I think it's garbage metal. If you don't like it, you can have an opinion, whatever opinion you want. Mm-hmm. But it's heavy music. Come on.
Yeah. But again, we don't want to backstab these guys. They're not here to defend themselves and their choices. But they're saying, this is our site, and we've drawn the line, like I said, in the sense. Oh, okay, fair enough. So there's lots of other online resources that are alternate, that are more, willing to explore different genres of metal.
Well, even you though, when you took over Megawatt Mayhem, I still remember this because I read it the whole thing through.
Oh yeah.
I wanted. It was like, okay, I'm volunteering at this radio station, this community radio station, and I'd love to get my own heavy metal show. I'd love to see what I could do with it, and it was around the time where Kevin left.
Yeah.
You were going to be on your own. The time slot was changing. You were losing a show.
My manifesto about what I'm not going to play anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The metal manifesto of things you will not play.
This is crap. I'm not playing it.
Yeah,
So I'm guilty of that too.
right. But I mean, at the same time, you want to play the stuff that you enjoy. It's an
sure,
expression. The radio shows that we did were an extension of ourselves.
That's
so
right, yeah.
so you're not going to play something that you don't like, right? You don't enjoy. Why would you do that when we're not getting paid? Like, it was a volunteer gig, right?
Yeah.
So why would you do that? But it was just funny because you listed all the cores.
All
this
the
core,
cores.
that core.
Yeah.
There's actually so many things in there you listed. And I'm like, this is
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
No. Awesome. No. Not awesome as in like, why did you do that? Like, not awesome the fact that, he shouldn't do a show the way he wants to do it. This is awesome because this is the kind of shit I want to play on my show.
Yeah.
So now there's a hole that someone can fill.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
totally,
mean?
totally.
Like Nat wasn't playing, wasn't playing much of the cores, and you know what I mean. So they just
Exactly.
there was no. It's like, here's where I fit in,
And there's a demand
here's where
for it.
here's
It's
where
so
I fit
popular
in.
and so
right,
good, right?
Right.
And it's funny 'cause,
it's more of they're more modern genres of metal. Like they're more recent, they're more modern, they're more
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Totally.
gent
all that stuff.
yeah, it's more recent.
And it's funny, we were saying earlier, it's like I shoot myself in the foot. I still listen to that stuff, but I don't champion it on my radio show.
Fair enough.
And there's so many,
enough.
there's other great shows on CGSW that are like, I'm the black metal guy. It's like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to compete with him because he
Yeah.
knows the black metal. So I love it, but I'm not going to step on his toes, right?
Right. And me, it's like I like stuff that I think is gonna like suck people in and get more people to like the genre and get them to dig deeper, you know.
yeah.
And that was my whole thing, and that's still my thing. Is I want to promote the bands that kind of like engage people that maybe are just metal, even just kind of heavy curious, and that just sucks them in, and then they dig for the really gritty stuff too. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. That was a rant.
That was a side rant. Yeah. So yeah, back to Metal Archives
Sorry,
and Rock Detector.
I went on a huge rant
That's
there. Okay. Some other cool things, JP, that you've been involved in. This is something actually you try to get me involved in, and I'm just like, I just don't have time. I don't have time. Sometimes my career goes crazy or stuff in life, and I'm like, I do not have time right now. I'm so sorry. You started off in 2011 as a judge for the Juno Awards in the heavy metal category, and by 2012, you were already a member of the CARAS. Am I saying, or you have to say the letters?
Yeah.
CARAS? CARAS, Canadian Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences. Heavy Metal Committee. He acted as an advisor on the entry qualifications, submissions, and screening of heavy metal artists for the Juno Awards, Canada's annual music awards program. I really want to chat with you about this because metal. How long has metal been a category in the Junos?
Well, the Junos started in the mid 70s, founded I think by Mr. Juno, like from the CRTC, which is getting into deep regulatory affairs in Canadian music industry. But
he's that guy. He's that guy, Juno.
Yeah, that's right. And they said Canada needs its own national award program, so it just started to happen. So eventually, hard rock and metal had their own category, but as shifting times, taste change, perceptions change, and then the metal category was dropped around 2002, 2003.
Oh, because it wasn't popular anymore, right?
Yeah, it was
'Cause
popular.
metal was big in the 80s, right? So
that's right. And it was kind of, I don't want to say it was a joke, that's too strong a word, but you'd have bands like Rush and Lee Aaron winning the metal category in the 80s, which there's other bands that probably could have done a better job. So it kind of imploded. And then a friend of mine, Sean Palmerston from Hamilton, he really wanted to get a metal category back for the Junos, and he knew industry people in Ontario, and he pitched this idea, and finally they said, yeah, it's about time we had a metal category. And so he brought me on board as a judge, and then so it's been 7 or 8 years now that we've actually had a true heavy metal category, and it's grown and grown to one of the bigger ones in the Junos. So it's very excited about that.
Yeah, and thank you for the time you did invite me to be a judge.
Oh, you're welcome. The invitation's still open. All you have to do is have time to listen to about 50 or 60 heavy metal albums, and then you can be a judge.
And that was the
You can do it. You
No.
can do it all easy.
I know, it's just because I take that kind of stuff so seriously.
Yeah. You'd go down the rabbit hole.
I would be taking notes. I would probably open up like a Microsoft OneNote
Get a
and
spreadsheet going.
Oh my God! You've seen how I plan. How I plan for stuff in my shows and stuff.
Meticulous.
Yeah.
Like
So
how?
it would drive me probably crazy because just for me I would take that responsibility with such weight because it's just like it's so important. Although, however, the last winners, yeah, Striker,
yeah.
abso-frickin-lutely
First
play to
Alberta
win.
band to win.
My God, is that album fucking fantastic?
Superb. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I listen to it every couple of months. I throw it on again. I love that album.
Very deserving winners.
Yeah.
It's a volunteer thing, but I'm the current chair of the Metal Advisory Committee, and we just, like you said, kind of manage the process and help bands submit and pick judges or recommend judges and just try to keep the industry moving along. And then, there's the big awards ceremony on the Saturday when bands win the trophy, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. It's a good way to be involved.
What are the entry qualifications and submissions? Like for submissions, like what are this says entry qualifications screening? What does that process look like? How do you?
It's pretty simple. You have to be a Canadian metal band.
Okay.
You have to have your album come out between sort of November of, let's use the current period, November 2019 to November 2020. It has to be mostly a full length, sort of over about 20 or 30 minutes long. Okay. And then you throw your hat in the pool. Okay. So if any bands are out there listening, you can go to www.junosubmissions.ca and it lays it all out. And there's an entry fee, an administrative fee type thing, and then your band can qualify, and then industry people listen to it and judge it, and then the winner gets the trophy and gets the girl. So, or the boy.
Yeah, we should get that out there, that link and stuff out there some more on social media and all that. So I think it's a good idea. Folks who follow me or follow, even there's the Metal Alberta pages and the Calgary pages and stuff like that. We should
Calgary metal scene.
We should really put that out, push it out there. There's a couple of bands even in the city that I think really should try.
And that's what we're doing right now, working behind the scenes to solicit submissions and say, hey, bands, this is a great idea. And some bands have said, well, what's the value of it? There's no cash prize and this kind of thing. But I think the advantage is that there's going to be a dozen or more judges, industry professionals, listening to your record. Right. People, decision makers, magazine editors, record company executives, internet people. And then the committee itself is looking at this saying, this is a worthy album. Right. To go to the judges. So you're going to have, 24 of the top industry professionals in Canada saying, this is awesome. Check it out. So even if you don't win, someone's saying, hey, there's this new band and maybe they might fit on my label, or I want to write an article in my magazine, or however it goes. It's just supporting the underground, supporting the independent bands, getting them exposure. Right. Number one. Right. Which is crazy important. And it's crazy too, because there's been a lot of bands that have won that people are like, who the hell is that band? But the judges have said this band stands out. The prog band from Vancouver or the thrash band from Quebec or whatever it's going to be. It's not always the big names that have won. In fact, a lot of times it's not the big names, because some of the bigger names maybe have settled into a routine or a pattern, and they're maybe not as innovative or interesting to some listeners. And then you have these things out of left field. It's like, wow, this is the hot new band on the block. Right. Yeah. Right. So it's a great way to expose all of them. So submissions are open right now? Yes. Okay. Actually, from Jay in the chat, junooawards.ca/submissions/submission-guidelines. Thank you. Is where you have to go. Thank you for that, Jason. Yeah. So definitely. If any bands are listening or watching this after the fact, apply. Why not? It obviously can't hurt. And if you're nominated, you get to go to the awards dinner, and they fly out to Toronto or wherever it's going to be. It alternates. It's like kind of like the Grey Cup in football. It alternates between East and West. So this year is a bit different because of all the things that are going on. Right. But I think it was It's been here in Calgary. It's been in Hamilton.
Is it virtual this year? Do you know, or how are they doing it?
Yeah, last year was supposed to be in Saskatoon, and
Okay.
It's just all up in the air right now, but
Yeah.
it's getting developed. So
Right.
and it's a whole week. It's Juno week. You know, there's live music showcases and concerts and music songwriting seminars and parties and industry meet and greets, and everyone just has a time celebrating music, any genre of music.
So you're saying I should become a judge then?
I agree. I insist. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, we should.
I know a guy. I'll hook you up.
It's all the little things you can get involved in, and then you meet more people, and then you get more people who want to be involved in your projects, and everyone kind of helps each other out.
Totally.
It's fun. Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick little story about the Juno Awards dinner that was in Calgary.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So I get my ticket, right, and I get invited, and this is it's a big forum like the BMO Center, right? There's these hundreds of tables, and there's these 2 stages, and I'm right up front.
Okay.
And I'm like right in front of the stage. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome! Like, you know, perfect seats, and I'm happy and chatting with people. And then I realized that there's the 2 stages, and the main stage is at the other end of the hall, and I'm in the very last back darkest corner near the bathroom in the ice machine.
Oh,
so
no.
it's like, okay, I get it now. Yeah, now I know where metal stands. It's like, so the pop and rock guys are all in like the winner's circle, and the metal guys back there. It's like, sorry, we ran out of the chicken Mr. Metal category. Yeah, it's
At least
funny.
you get to be there.
Yeah, I got to be there.
Wow. Even that experience I would enjoy.
Oh, it's fun. And I just went and hung out with Cataclysm, who won that year. We went and
Nice.
yeah, so they were so happy, you know, just like, wow, fine.
Also well deserved. Yeah. So at least there's been some good picks in recent years. You guys are doing I'd say you're doing a bang up job in who you're
thank
picking.
you. Yeah, and it's just not about us picking; it's the judges. You know, so you could be a judge. Anyone can be a judge. You have a little bit of knowledge and experience in the industry, and say, I want to check these bands out, and I want to support them. Go for it.
How many judges are there to come to the decision for
Usually around a dozen. And we don't know who they are as the committee, because then, of course, I would, I just pick my friends.
Oh, okay.
Say,
So what you were asking me to help with was to weed out the ones that get presented to the judges. Is that what it was? Or?
No, I want my original idea for you was to be a judge. So we take a pool of names. Right. So Karis, the organization, says, metal guys, find us 20 or 25 cool metal dudes who will be judges.
I'm not that cool.
And then we would submit a pool of 25 names.
Yeah.
And then a third committee picks them. They say, Wally, you get to be a judge.
Gotcha.
I don't get to know, because I could influence your decision.
Right.
It's a secret. You need to be quiet that you're a judge, because bands might, want to talk to you and influence you.
Right.
So I don't know until the night of, when they announce who the judges are. So I just say, here's 25 cool metal people.
Gotcha. And they weed it, and then they narrow it down.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so then you apply, and I'd put in a good word, say, I think Wally'd be a kick-ass judge. And then when it's all over, you'd say, oh, guess what? I was a judge this year. I'm like, oh, cool.
Well, we've both done some judging at the Vakken Metal Battles, the ones that have been here in Calgary.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have got a mutual friend, Nate, who says his catchphrase is judging art is stupid, which is kind of true, but it's still fun. There's that competitive nature, and bands try a little harder and work a little bit more and bring their A game, and everyone has fun with it 99% of the time. Occasionally you get the sour grapes or whatever, but that's life, right?
Every night of that was fun judging, like the first year, second year. The only time I didn't have fun was the Calgary final this last year, and the Canadian final, because it was so hard.
Pressure,
it was so hard, and you have to I love music, and I know how much effort and energy and time that these bands put into this. It's so tough to be like, oh, he messed up on that part, the song, or they look like they just came home from they dropped their kids off at soccer practice. They don't look like a band on stage.
There's any number of reasons why you could disqualify a band.
Right. It's just so silly. Some of the things it's like if you close your eyes and look the other way, I think the band who had like the best sound who sounded just the best, they didn't actually win, because we judge on a bunch of things: marketability and stage presence and timing, and it's timing. Space between the tracks, right? So like, are they going from one song to the next? Are they
getting off the stage quickly?
Right.
Like, the criteria was crazy.
It's just all these little silly things that you could have a band that just killed it, but then they make one mistake, like especially when it's at the end and everyone's being scored so high. The one band that really just like goes over by 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
It's rock and roll. You can't stop a runaway train, right? They go, they get into their end, and the other guy started late or whatever. Yeah.
Well, because in Germany for Wacken, when if these bands actually do make it there and say they win the national final, and they make it to Wacken and they get to do the battle there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
They can't piss around.
No,
they have to be like they're like clockwork, on stage, off stage. Like there's no fucking around. That's why it's such a big like make or break. It's like, okay, if this band is more than 30 seconds over their time, we have to you pull the plug. That's it. It's like that's so crazy. It's just, but you know what? At the same time though, I you know, as tough as those last 2 rounds were, I'm so happy I did it, though. I'm so happy I was part of that, and it was an amazing thing.
Oh, a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you know what happened? You know, they left Canada out this year, and then we got a pandemic. I don't know. What happened there?
Yeah, Canada had a run. I think we won 2 out of 3 years in a row, and there's so many nations now involved in this contest that they alternate years for certain regions. So they said, Canada, it's time for you to sit out, which is not unreasonable.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wonder if it's going to skip another year yet because everything going on, because there wasn't a battle this past year.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, if Canada's going to get it next year, maybe the year after. There's a couple of bands in this city that I really enjoy that did not apply for that last round of the battle. And next time I hear about it, I'm going to be on them. I'll be like, guys,
come on, why not? What
get your work together, get your ass together, apply, because you know we might be sending you guys to Germany. Who knows? But anyway, more rants. This show's all about rants. I guess it's just like I said. This has been a guilty pleasure. It's just really you and me just shooting the shit with each other. You show me all your cool freaking toys and talking about the amazing things you've been involved in. So how much, you can probably see that screen, how much time is left on that video?
I can't actually.
No,
I don't have it up.
You don't have it up there?
Only just the music. Yeah.
Okay, let me just pull that up so I can see it. Oh, she's almost done. We got 3 minutes, so let's play out the last 3 minutes of that. We got one more thing to talk about, and then maybe we'll end it there, JP.
Sounds good.
All right, let's listen to the last little bit of Le Fait.
This flies by. The night's flying by. We still got a lot of ground to cover.
You know what? We're not going to cover it all tonight. You've done too much.
A lifetime.
You've been too involved in everything, and you have so much more shit you could come and do.
We'll do a part 2 one day.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. You'll come back, show some stuff from your collection
in a year from now.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Le Fait is rough.
Nice
drummer. That's a wrap. That's a wrap for us too.
Good job.
I think it's a wrap for us too.
I think so.
That's a perfect way to end it. We were talking about Banger Films and your involvement with that, but you know, it was Sam Dunn. Let's chat about that. Yeah, but you know what? Let's save that till next episode. There's probably some good stories there too. You're full of great stories.
Okay.
All right.
It's almost anticlimactic when there's like, you do this raging concert and there's like 5 guys in the audience going, yay, because no one's allowed in the door.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that'll change eventually, right? Like,
well, doing this will help build a fan base for when they can play live again. So I guess what I'm going to pull up is I'll just let folks know, the 5 of you that are still tuning in and watching. Thanks for everyone. Stay tuned. We'll get we get a lot of views after the fact, which is really nice. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, every show's gotten close to 200 total views if you cross all the platforms. So we're doing okay.
Nice,
we're doing okay. Yeah, for just starting, we're doing okay. People are watching. Anyway, so I'm going to let folks know about what's coming up. In terms of planned shows, I have like 4 or 5 in the next couple of weeks that are like not 100% that are in the works, because bands appear to be like the most wishy-washy.
Yeah, juggling.
They're non-committal. It's artists, right? They're artists. Yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, I'll get around
5 of them.
I'll get around to Wally like the day before he wants me to come on the show. Yeah. Anyway, it's like, no. I'm an organizer. I plan. I want you on the show now. Anyway, I want to figure it out, my schedule. But anyway, so we got only one show to announce, which is next week's show. But we'll have some more coming. Don't you worry. I just have to keep reaching out to people because the love is that's a wrap, says Jason. Let's just pull up what's coming up next. So it's only one show coming up. They should be scrolling here right away. There we go. It's coming. Next week's show, next Wednesday, every Wednesday, you're going to want to tune into the Wicked Wally webcast. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube. The YouTube link is not true. So spread the word. Let people, I don't know, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe, because I want to actually have a Wicked Wally webcast YouTube link. Yeah, because it's not that right now. Anyway, episode number 4 next week, October 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Metal is Divine is the name of the episode, because we have interview with James and Sean of Divinity, and our guest host, the third member of Team Wicked, who's been in the chat every episode, helping me out, giving me tips, letting us know, doing research on the side. Thanks, Jason. He'll be here in studio, which will be exciting. Jason has a history with that band, so we'll have lots to talk about. And James apparently has no filter.
Divinity boys are awesome.
I have a feeling the conversation is going to go so off the rails. I might be reeling it in constantly. It's probably going to go to politics and religion and all this crazy stuff. And I'm just okay, reel it in. Yeah. How about that song?
Oh yeah, great guys. I saw them.
They're awesome. They're awesome.
As teenagers playing in the bar when they first started. Superb band. Still got some old CDR Divinity demos kicking around in the collection.
There, and Jason just shared in the chat the YouTube link, youtube.com. If you just search for Wicked Wally webcast in YouTube, you will find it. That's a good way to do it. And yeah, just a bunch of likes. We've got 100 subscribers. That's what I'm looking for there. 100 subscribers, and then you can actually get that official link where youtube.com/Wicked Wally webcast. Everywhere else it's there, but just not on YouTube until we get enough people subscribing, not viewing, but subscribing. Viewership's been great, but yeah, we need those subscriptions. So woohoo, Jason's stoked for next week. I am too, buddy. This is going to be fucking awesome. Yeah. And I'm going to be so famous, he says. Maybe eventually, who knows?
Ultra famous.
If we're lucky, maybe eventually. But I don't know, if you think about it, an audience of, let's say I spoke in front of an audience of 200 people, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that.
Fantastic.
There's nothing wrong with that. All right, JP, you have so many stories, so many amazing things to tell us and share. We got some of the highlights. We didn't get into everything. We could probably even dig deeper into some of the stuff we talked about that you were involved in, and the stories from Megawatt Mayhem. From Megawatt Mayhem, I'll be what was the coolest experience? What was the shittiest experience? I mean, those are some good questions too, right? So I like to have you back, because we just kind of touched on everything, but I want to have you back so we can dig a little more deeper, go into a few other cool things you've been involved in, and just. This was awesome. Wow, I think we could talk for 3 hours, but we're not going to. We're going to end it here. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. This is Wicked Wally webcast. It's a Wally and JP. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Tune in next week. Same Wicked time, same Wicked channel. Wally and JP signing out.